the new Elantra N. This is actually the first time they've introduced a full N. There is an N line, and there is this, the full N. Today, I'm going to talk about this vehicle, how does it drive, and most importantly, we are in California. We are in Sonoma, California. We're around a racetrack here. We're going to test drive this, and then we'll take it on normal roads as well to see how does it compare between the track and how comfortable it is in normal roads, because at the end of the day, you will be driving this potentially as your day-to-day car. Here's one thing you need to know. I'm actually looking to buy a vehicle myself, so could this be the one that I could use for day-to-day? And of course, take it around the racetrack, and as you know, if you watch my videos, a lot of drag races. So let's start talking about the exterior. Let's talk about the colors. Let's talk about how does it compare to the N line, and what does it offer more, and how does it compare to the Veloster N as well. Let's start first with the front end. Most importantly, you can see the N badge at the front. We have that beautiful red thin layer onto the lip, and then onto the side of it with the N performance badge located onto that side behind the front wheel. Most importantly, a very aggressive front end, as you can see, and there is a ton of space there for the air to flow through. And sometimes what manufacturers do is they make fake vents on the side. This actually, it is functional. As you can see, it goes all the way through for better aerodynamics. We have LED headlights with this package. This one is technically the performance blue color, as you know. Beautiful. You have seen it in the Veloster N as well. You have the choice of 6 colors in total. And most importantly, one thing you need to know is the fact that this will be made in South Korea, will be produced in South Korea. I did ask people at Hyundai Canada, how long would it take on average for a Canadian to order one? And right now, because of the shortage of the chips that you guys know, this could take up to 3 months maximum. So if you had to order today, you'd have to wait about 2 to 3 months. That's not that bad compared to other brands that I've talked to. I really like the shape on the outside of this thing, and I love the little red details, my favorite color, and most importantly, the blue, the performance blue really makes this thing pop out, because then you have all the black side profile goes all the way through. Let's talk about the actual wheels. So these are 19-inch wheels. They're 245/35 in the front. They're Michelin. Now, the Kona N gets a different tire compared to this. So these are performance tires, amazing for track. We have the piston in the front, as you can see, caliper, the red painted caliper. I believe these are one piston, and then, of course, standard rotor, but with performance engineering behind it. They're not drilled like you'd find in some vehicles. We're going to find out how this thing handles in corners. The tires in the back are also 245/35 19-inch Michelin tires, of course. Let's move on to the back side. So here's what we have. The beautiful spoiler all the way through. This is not carbon fiber, it's painted in black, which I absolutely love because it really pops out because of that performance blue color. The actual taillights, very similar you'd find in the Elantra. And then we have the letters located in here, says Elantra all the way, and the N badge. Now, let's get to the fun part. The diffuser, as you can see, and we have similar exhaust, I would say, from the Veloster N, but this apparently sounds louder than the Veloster N. We're gonna find out about that soon. And then the trunk, let's open that up. Here you go. Now, look what we have in there. Those are specifically put there for better handling on the roads, better ride as well. And you know, if you've been into a race car, you've seen that style before. Love that they have introduced that. Kind of like a little secret once you open the trunk. Let's go around. This does have a sunroof for the fans out there that love sunroofs. I love how this thing looks. It looks aggressive, it looks different. This is quite an interesting vehicle overall, and I'd say there's probably very little competitors out there that can go up against this. I mean, a few cars that I could think of are potentially the Honda Type R could be one. The next one could be potentially even a Golf GTI or a Golf R, but this is a front wheel bias. This is a front wheel drive car. It's not a wheel drive, so I think the Type R will be closest. We're gonna find out how fast this thing is when time comes, because it's cold in Ontario right now. Take it around the drag strip and see how this thing is quick. Now, let's talk about the engine over there. If you've watched reviews of the Veloster N, this engine shares a lot with that. This is 2-liter. It makes 276 horsepower, but with the NGS, which I'll explain to you in a minute, this makes up to 286. It is actually faster than the Veloster N, 0.4 seconds. This will do 0-60 in 5 seconds. Quite impressive for a front-wheel drive vehicle. And most importantly for the fans out there, gotta give it to Hyundai, they're offering a manual transmission and a DCT, but of course the manual transmission, it is slower compared to the DCT. If I had to order one for myself, it would definitely be a DCT. I love that, and most importantly, it'd be great for drag races. We have adjustable adjustable suspension system with this setup, and of course it changes based on the driving modes as well to give you the best performance. And you can see the cars. Soon we're going to go around the track, but this is what you need to know about it. It's the 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, and this thing is quite impressive from what I've driven with the Veloster N. So I'm very interested to see how this thing drives compared to that, since it is faster and it sounds probably better than that. But let's start it up and hear how this thing sounds. Okay, let's talk about the interior. Interesting things. Beautiful suede all around. Very similar to you find in the standard Elantra. Then we have the N badge on the side here, as you can see. The seats, of course, the ones that you see in the Veloster N, but I do believe these are slightly different. I think the actual design might be similar, but there's like little things. So for example, I didn't find the suede, this little stripes that you see in here in the Veloster N, but they do share the same logo, which kind of lights up when it's dark, and you can see it right now. Beautiful. They're kind of like bucket style. I can fit in these things nice and perfectly, and I'm 6'2", so that just gives you an idea. And we have the beautiful performance blue stitches all around, so as you can see, to the seats, and then we have the steering wheel as well, and then the same thing on that side. And you know what I love about this car? It has a normal handbrake. Kudos to Hyundai for making that available to us car guys. Now, let's talk about some of the details on the inside, like the steering wheel and all the tech features. First of all, let's start it up. And yes, you got that right. That is a digital cluster. The Veloster N doesn't have this. I believe it's about 10.25-inch massive infotainment cluster, and then the infotainment display is similar you'd find in the Elantra, like same design as that. Now, let's talk about some of the features. This is a steering wheel. This has the DCT, so it's not a manual transmission. Very similar to shift knob to the Veloster N, and it shares quite a lot with it. But here's what this has. This has one N on this side, and then you have another N on that side. That is a custom, so you can do N or custom 1. And then with this button over here, you can do N or custom 2. So you can customize it the way you want it, and you have control right here. Steering wheel. Absolutely love that. And for you that don't know this, for the guys that don't know this, the NGS gives you about a 20-second of power boost. So it goes from 276 horsepower to 286. So that way you can get a bit more juice out of the engine. This is a good button for drag races. We'll talk about that as well. Now, the steering wheel, beautiful perforated leather. Love the stitching. Doesn't have a flat bottom. It has the N logo over here. Not sure if that's a big deal for some people. I don't mind it. I love that it's nice and grippy. It's thick on this side, and same thing on the other side. I love the paddle shifters are located onto the steering wheel, not the steering column. The steering column, it is adjustable, so it is manually adjustable. You can do that and that. Very similar to, and then we go back into that area. Okay, let's move on into the actual cluster. First of all, you can change the modes in here. This is for the radio, basically, the buttons. And then there are settings that you can change. Basically, you can go here, sport display, turbo boost, torque, your lap time, your G-force. your tire pressure, they're all in there for you. And then on this side, we have more information. So the cluster changes the layout based on the driving modes. Depends on the driving mode that you have it on, and it will change that. Now, in terms of the safety features, we have, of course, lane assist, gap assist, the cruise control activated, blind spot assist as well, parking sensors all the way around it. I love that beautiful cluster, as you can see. I love that digital cluster. Gives you a different feeling compared to the Veloster. But this is quite an impressive one. Let's put into drive and let's see. I think there is a rev match as well, of course, with this, but most importantly, you're going to have the shifting pattern that you see, the shifting light that you see in the Veloster N, but this, of course, it is a digital, so it's a bit different. It's not at the same level. I just got confused now. I just saw miles there. I realized we're in the US. For Canadians, that should be kilometers, but we are in the US. Anyway, so that is the cluster. That's a beautiful digital cluster. On this side, we have the actual infotainment display. Beautiful screen, as you can see, touch screen most importantly. And here is the beautiful thing with the Elantra N. So you have a performance package with this, and then if you go into the N mode, you get the performance data. This is different than the one in the Veloster N. You have quite a lot of information here. You can click on that, and that basically will show you, like, you got your power output in here, your RPM, and on the side you can still see your actual map. And then we can go back into the N mode. There is like throttle. So each one, there's so much information that you can use here, like your power, the torque, the turbo, the speed as well, and then throttle, everything, it's right there. And you have dual gauges as well, lots of information, and then engine temperature as well. There's more in here. So that's basically your main page. And then if we go into the side, then we have more tech features. This is quite impressive. Here you go. You can change that sport suspension system, normal, sport, or sport plus. You can change your LSD as well, normal and sport. And then we have the traction control, the exhaust note as well. You can change them straight from here. And one of my favorite things that I've always complained about the Veloster N is the launch control. The launch control can be activated here, and you have 5 minutes. It lasts for 5 minutes. You can turn that off. Of course, we don't need it. And then there's the performance options as well. You can change the actual RPM for the launch control. I'll just do 3,400, and then you can activate that. And then that will tell you exactly how much time you have left. Now that is quite impressive. All these settings that you see here, nothing on this is on the Veloster N, so that makes this thing quite impressive. Then there is the circuit over here, which you can pick whichever you are at, and it will save that and basically give you all the times you have done around the track, which is, again, another great feature. If this is your thing to go to the track, you can do lap times as well. I think there is a 0 to 60. There we go. We have a 0 to 60. It's kind of like a draggy style. You can, the actual system, how it works. You'll keep the 0 to 60 test as well. You can do more if you want to find out, 0 to 70. Now that is quite impressive that you have everything right in there. You don't need to buy a new draggy. Everything you need to know, it's right in there. Love this thing. Now let's talk about some of the tech features. You have a backup camera on this thing, parking sensors as well. We have different modes for the cameras, and then you can change the settings, and then we can go back into that. And then we have Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. There's also a wireless charging pad in there. It has heated seats for both passenger and driver side, but the seats are actually not powered here. So keep that in mind. These are just manually adjustable. There's the actual lever located into here, and you can fix that. So that's pretty much on this side. Everything else remains similar to a actual Elantra. Then we have this beautiful interior performance light, as you can see around it. I love this little details that this car has. One thing that I want to say thank you to Hyundai is the fact that they left the manual handbrake. I'm a big fan of this style. I'm not a big fan of the actual automatic brakes. I get it, some people love that. I personally enjoy this kind of style. Now we have different driving modes as well. It changes the layout. Driving modes, you have drive, eco, norm, and sport. So that's your track experience kind of thing. And of course there is an N mode as well, and that changes completely from the sport mode. Absolutely love this. So that's it. Now I think we should go for a test drive around the track. Okay folks, we're going for a drive. First, taking the Elantra N. It already sounds good to me. It's a bit wet today. It rained a little bit in the morning, so we're gonna take it a little bit easy with these front-wheel drive cars, but that also gives us an opportunity to see how this thing reacts, the limited slip differential, and also the brakes. Nice. Doing well. Not pushing it much right now, just like a warm-up session. And I love the pops and cracks from coming from the back of this. There we go. That was good. A bit of a slip there. It's very wet. Oh, okay. It's wet. It is wet. Brakes are good on this thing. Brakes are really good on this. Oh, nice. The traction is on. We have to keep the traction on. It's wet, but this thing, it's a lot of fun in wet because you really get to experience the car differently. It's spinning a little. Okay, that was interesting. It's wet. It's really wet.
front-wheel drive, it handles well in corners as a front-wheel drive car in a wet session. Like it's, there we go. This car, the less a brake in, the better. But it just keeps it together, as you can see. Like it's just. Well in rain. It's just it's in some areas it's very like wet, but overall it's just so much fun. It keeps itself so you don't understeer as much. It puts you straight back into the place, so it's still a lot of fun even though I'm driving in rain. And to be honest, like it's also always concerning if you race in rain, you know. Sometimes you can become a passenger in these cars. Okay folks, let's talk about the Elantra N. After a few laps around the track, around the autocross, we are going to take it in normal roads and see how this beauty handles in normal roads. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about track experience, it's also about a little bit of fun. I love the manual transmission in this car. It's short shifting. The manual transmission is almost perfect. The actual gear knob is not long. It's a short shifter, and on top of that, the gears are not too close to each other, so you can still enjoy. It's a proper performance. It's also very daily. I'm easily and very comfortable adjusted to this. It feels normal to me in many ways. I love how comfortably you downshift. The car reacts quickly. Love the rev matching. But here's the thing, if you don't want all that, the car changes completely by switching the driving modes. We're gonna put it into normal mode. Exhaust valve closed, now you just have a normal car. Simple as that. That's how good this thing is, and I love this car for that. It just feels totally normal to me. In normal road, after you put it in normal mode, you're done. It's proper normal mode. You have all the tech features that you need, from heated seats, dual climate zone, active cruise control that you'd find in the Elantra, for example. I love the fact that I have the two switches, the N modes, into the steering wheel. I can switch from different custom mode, one custom mode, then the next one. You can change them, it depends what you want. It's just so many things, so many good things about this car that I absolutely love. And here's the thing, for someone my height, 6'2", with these seats, I would expect it to have a bit more being uncomfortable technically, but I don't. I fit in perfectly. I have broad shoulders, so that it's very hard to please me when it comes to seats. But this, I enjoy it. Just to give you an idea how they are and how comfortable. The car is comfortable too. When you put it into N mode, the suspension setup gets pretty stiff. Even the steering wheel, I noticed, changes completely. A few things that I wish they would have offered. This doesn't seem to have a full 360 camera. I think that would be a great feature, but it doesn't have it in terms of the tech features. In terms of the performance package, I wish the front brakes would have been 4 pistons, or the type of Brembo brakes that you see with 4 pistons total. These are just 1, but they still handle well, shockingly. Front wheel drive, you'd never notice that. It's very well, little understeering, whether it's in corners, in a track, even in normal roads. This thing handles very, very well. The tires are perfect. This uses, I believe, the Michelin, meanwhile the Kona uses the Pirelli, and these are 19-inch, so pretty big wheels for this car. It handles well on the road. It's comfortable. I would say for long trips, this thing would be a joy as well, because you're not just looking for track day, you're also looking to drive this for to work, your commutes, whether it's school or long trips. You need that, and this offers that balance between performance vehicle and also day-to-day for your personal use, and that's what I like about this thing. And it sounds really good. Let's put in N modes, downshift into third. Rev matching is on. Every time you downshift, you can really feel this car. This is good. This is really good. I love how it drives. It's so different from the Veloster N. The Elantra N, it's so different, and it does feel faster than that. And also, I feel more comfortable in here. I love it. I love it. I actually enjoy this thing. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of car for the money. That's one thing. It's a lot of car for the money, and that's what I like about this. Let me know your thoughts about it. What do you think? Would you buy a GTI? I'd personally pick this over a GTI any day. You get more space. It looks better. It's a lot of fun. You get a DCT manual transmission as well. You got tons of options, and it drives so good. That was it, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Cheers.